So I've got breaking news. You have seen the title right. Both Jack Ma and Tsai just dropped bombshells about the future of Alibaba and what we can essentially expect as shareholders. So at the time of this recording, Alibaba is actually up more than 5% in the Hong Kong market, and everyone seems to look at it as some sort of a positive development. So, what exactly happened? So 6 days ago, Tsai went onto a podcast that has since garnered more than 50,000 views, and he has essentially expressed his opinion on a wide range of issues, from Alibaba's monetization effort, their competition, their mistakes, the outlook of China, the relationship between Alibaba and AI, China's relationship and state in the AI's arms race, and geopolitical concerns, etc., etc., etc. So my favorite question,
Do you see yourself as a nice boss?
but that's besides the point. So I'm going to play a short snippet that is the most important piece in the entire 37-minute long podcast.
And I think our when we look internally and kind of self-reflect over the last several years, we have fallen behind because we forgot about who our real customers are. Our customers are the users that use our apps, that are shopping, and we did not give them the best experience. So in a way, we kind of stepped on our own foot and didn't really focus on where the value is, where we could provide value. And so as part of the reorganization, our new CEO comes in. I'm the chairman, but I work with a CEO who's 12 years younger than I am. And he's very, very user-focused, focused on the product and the interface and the user experience. And that's the most important thing for us.
And how are you rectifying it? What kind of steps are you taking?
The first thing we did was to acknowledge mistakes. We've acknowledged that in the past, we might have not focused on our user experience. The second thing is to reorganize our personnel, change the organizational structure that fits the strategy. I think this is a very common problem of big companies. Big companies are set in their organizational structures, and then they don't change because people don't like to change. They don't want to change jobs. They are afraid to be fired and things like that. And then you start to fit the company's direction into your org structure, it shouldn't be that way. It should be the other way around. You should define what the direction is and then set the company's organization. So we actually reorganize ourselves within Taobao. Our group CEO, who's also directly the CEO of the Taobao Tmall marketplace, if you look at his direct reports today, they're drastically different from who his direct reports were 3 months ago.
So in short, Alibaba has lost its way, and Tsai had admitted that they essentially screwed up, and they've taken a much active approach to regroup and re-strategize in this changing landscape. So of course, I understand that talk is cheap, and we can confirm that there were indeed many strategy changes and even reorganization happening through the reports and communication to us externally. But one thing through the test of time will never lie: numbers. So we are in the early phases of this transition, change, whatever you call it. And what they're essentially doing right now is a lot of PR, signaling to both investors and even their internal employees. So in order for this rally to be sustained, at least for myself, they really need to work on delivering better numbers through their quarterly and even their yearly reports. So my mom, who doesn't even know much about investing, also knows that Alibaba is cheap, but she's not biting. So you know what you should bite on instead? For those of you looking to consolidate your investment holdings into one platform, I think you're in luck. Right now, until the end of April 2024, Webull has a transfer-in campaign that allows both new and existing users to get up to $450 of transfer fee subsidy on top of free Nvidia shares, worth potentially up to $10,000 if you hit the criteria and fulfill the requirements. So for those of you who don't have such a big account like me, you can qualify for this campaign by just transferring $5,000 worth of shares and maintain for 1 year to receive $1,000 worth of Nvidia shares. So that's 20% of your capital. You just have to follow 3 simple steps. Step 1, go to the link below, look for transfer in, click on participate now. create an account if you haven't done so, and fill in the share transfer-in request in the app. Step 2, submit the transfer out fee proof to get the subsidy. And step 3, meet the following requirements during the holding period, and you'll get to claim the rewards from the reward center during the stipulated time of this campaign. So it's as simple as that. Don't waste any more time, and you can sign up for a Webull account in the link below and enjoy all the perks today. So what's the real deal? Joe went onto a podcast 6 days ago. Why is it affecting Baba's share price today? So of course, there's something even bigger brewing behind the scenes. So this morning, Jack Ma published a post on Alibaba's intranet titled "For Reform and Innovation," affirming the courage of the new management to change, saying that Alibaba has returned to the track of healthy growth and supported the continued reform. So this is the first time in 5 years since retirement that Jack Ma has shared his thoughts on the company's reform, innovation, and future prospects at length. And let me try to briefly summarize this internal letter. I didn't use AI and I'm not a professional translator. And here's my translation. So for those of you who disagree, you can leave it in the comments down below. With the title, "For Reform and Innovation," written on the first anniversary of Ali's regrouping efforts. And I quote, "In the last few days, many have forwarded the podcast done by Joe, and some told me that this podcast has revealed a lot of Ali's past mistakes. Yes, I thank Joe Tsai for his courage, not afraid to admitting mistakes. So to err is human. Making a mistake is not terrifying. The terrifying thing, not knowing that you have made a mistake, not admitting, and not correcting it. So we have made many miracles in the last 25 years, but we have also made countless mistakes. I expect the same for the next 77 years to come. So focusing on the current problems is the responsible way to chart out our future. Don't complain, don't blame it on others. Times have changed and we need to follow suit. Not only do we have to admit and make changes for yesterday's problem, but also change for the future. So I've written in our intranet last year, Ali will change, Ali will transform. In the last 1 year, the new management team's courage and wisdom will bring us through the series of changes to make us more future ready. So in the last year or so, the core pivot is to forget about KPIs, but instead to focus and to recognize Alibaba itself as an entity and return to the track of customer value. So we hacked away the big company disease, and Alibaba has returned to putting efficiency and markets first, becoming simple and agile. So the new management focuses on the problem, focuses on the future, trusting the young team, assisting them with resources, and make your judgment and execution accordingly. So our mission of making it easy to do business anywhere will never change. From the start, from B2B at Taobao to Alipay to AliCloud, our innovation was never to chase for higher profits, but to allow ourselves to continue to survive and thrive in this ever-changing landscape. So our innovation is not to change someone, but to change ourselves. Our innovation was never to outshine our competitors, but to make ourselves more future-proof. Innovation is never about chasing a trend, but an essential skill for survival. It requires you to challenge yourself constantly. Constantly do what others don't want, don't dare, and don't do. So within the next 3 to 5 years in this internet era, it's going to feel like 100 years have passed due to the massive changes that is to come. So I believe the hottest e-commerce platform will not be the same 3 years later. The AI era has just arrived and it's day one. So within the last year, there's a lot of skepticism, a lot of pressure, but I've seen a strong Ali team being born. When speaking about reform and innovation, some might look at it as some sort of a slogan with not much action. Reform and innovation is painful because there is a price to pay, and everyone down the line will be affected. So I thank everyone in Ali for their success, sacrifices, and contribution. So the road to reform and innovation will never be accompanied by applauses, because what we are changing is our favorite bad habits, and what we are changing are vested interests. But we won't be alone walking down this journey. In the future, we need to be much more proactive in changing ourselves, constantly improving, and we'll build a stronger and much more vibrant Alibaba. You can do it, Alibaba. Signing off, Jack Ma. So the release of this internal memo was probably the catalyst that pumped the stock price. So here are a few of my reflections. 1. Jack Ma is still the biggest and the most effective marketer for Alibaba. Although he is quote-unquote retired, his words and actions hold heavy weight in both the employees and also the investors' mindset. So it came out endorsing the new team, and people are essentially buying it up. Selfishly, at the back of my mind, there's always a remote possibility that he comes back to Alibaba as someone important and influential, something like what Disney has pulled off. That said, I think succession planning is a short-term pain but long-term gain, and it's important to get the right people to do the right job. Number 2, in the letter, he did not mention much about the previous management team, which is kind of handpicked by him. So I guess the focus here should be on the future and the way forward, since markets tend to be forward-looking. Number 3, returning and focusing on customer value has become the root word of most external communications to investors. So I'm not necessarily confident that it means an immediate rebound in terms of financial metrics and ratios, because it often means more expenditure, more R&D, more testing, more experimentation. So I guess investors are clinging onto any news that they can get their hands on, and they're finding reasons to move the stock. So for the medium term, I do see this as a step in the right direction. But for the short term, however, at least in the next 1, 2, 3 quarters ahead, margins might still be at a depressed level. And if you are in for a quick trade, trading on sentiments, maybe it's possible. Trading on a quick reversion in terms of financials, it might be a tougher hurdle to cross. But for the long term, I do think that many investors are underscoring the potential of this business. So for those of you who have not caught the 37 minutes podcast with Tsai, I highly encourage you to do so. And I'll leave the link in the description box down below. If not, I'll see you guys in the next video, but more importantly, and hopefully in 2024, I'll see you guys on the moon. Goodbye.